If you've ever walked into a room and felt that heavy, sticky dampness in the air, or noticed foggy windows, a musty smell, or tiny beads of moisture collecting on your walls, you already know how frustrating excess humidity can be. Most people assume the only fix is running an electric dehumidifier around the clock, which quietly adds dollars to your power bill every single month. But there's a simple, almost forgotten trick that homeowners have used for generations to pull moisture out of the air without plugging anything in, and it costs about $4 to set up. Today we're breaking down exactly how this moisture hack works, why it's so effective, and how you can use it in any room of your house, from the bedroom to the basement, to keep things dry, fresh, and mold-free. Let's start with why moisture becomes a problem in the first place. Every home naturally holds water vapor in the air, and that level rises because of cooking, showering, breathing, laundry, and even the weather outside. When indoor humidity climbs above 50%, you start creating the perfect environment for mold spores, dust mites, and mildew to thrive. This is especially true in basements, bathrooms, laundry rooms, and closets that don't get much airflow. Over time, that trapped moisture can warp wood furniture, peel paint, rust metal fixtures, and even damage the structural materials inside your walls. It also makes a room feel colder than it actually is, which tempts people to crank up the heat and spend even more on energy. So tackling moisture isn't just about comfort, it's about protecting your home's value and your family's health. Now here's where the $4 hack comes in. The secret ingredient is calcium chloride. It's sometimes sold as rock salt or ice melt in the winter aisle of your local hardware store. Calcium chloride is a natural desiccant, which means it has a powerful ability to absorb moisture directly from the air around it. Unlike a plug in dehumidifier that uses a compressor and fan to pull in air, cool it down, and collect condensation, calcium chloride works passively through a chemical process called deliquescence, where the crystals absorb water vapor and slowly dissolve into a liquid brine. There's no motor, no electricity, and no noise. You simply place it in a container, set it in a damp area, and let it quietly do its job around the clock. Setting this up in your own home takes less than 5 minutes. Start with a plastic bucket or a large container with holes, or you can buy a mesh basket specifically designed for this purpose. Line the bottom with a layer of calcium chloride crystals. Usually about 2 cups is enough for a small to medium-sized room. Place that basket or perforated container over a second, empty bucket or tray, so that as the calcium chloride absorbs moisture and turns into liquid, the brine drips down and collects separately instead of pooling around the crystals. This keeps the desiccant working efficiently for as long as possible. Set the whole setup in the corner of the room where humidity tends to build up the most, such as near a window inside a closet or in a basement corner that never quite dries out. Within a day or two, you'll likely notice the crystals shrinking and liquid collecting in the tray below. That liquid should be emptied out periodically, and depending on how humid your space is, you may need to add more calcium chloride every couple of weeks. Compared to running an electric dehumidifier that can cost anywhere from $30 to $80 a month in electricity depending on your rates and usage, this $4 bag of crystals can last an entire season in a small room, making it one of the most budget-friendly home maintenance solutions available for damp spaces. This hack is especially useful in areas of the home that traditionally struggle the most with excess humidity. Basements are a perfect example, since they sit below ground level and are naturally cooler, which means moisture from the soil and poor ventilation tends to settle there. Placing a few of these desiccant containers around your basement can help prevent that telltale musty smell and reduce the risk of mold creeping along baseboards or storage boxes. Bathrooms are another key spot, especially if you don't have a strong exhaust fan, since steam from hot showers lingers in the air and settles on tile, grout, and drywall. Laundry rooms, especially ones without proper ventilation for the dryer, also benefit greatly from having a passive moisture absorber running in the background. It's worth mentioning that while this method is incredibly effective, it works best as part of a broader moisture management strategy, rather than a total replacement for good ventilation. Opening windows when the weather allows, using exhaust fans during and after showers, and making sure your dryer vent is clear and properly routed outside all play a role in keeping indoor humidity under control. Combining these habits with a calcium chloride setup gives you a layered defense against dampness that costs very little and requires almost no ongoing effort. Another reason this hack has become so popular among homeowners is how versatile it is. You're not limited to store-bought moisture absorber containers that can cost $10 to $15 each and only last a few weeks. By buying a large bag of calcium chloride in bulk, which often costs under $10 for enough material to last months, you can refill your own containers again and again, making the long-term cost even lower than the already impressive $4 starting point. Some homeowners even use mesh laundry bags or old stockings filled with the crystals and hang them inside closets, cabinets, or storage totes, where moisture tends to get trapped without much airflow. If you're dealing with a particularly damp space like a crawl space or an unfinished basement, you can scale this method up by using multiple containers spread throughout the area. Just make sure each one has proper drainage, so the collected brine doesn't overflow or spill onto flooring, which could create a slip hazard or leave a residue. Checking on your containers weekly is a good habit, especially during humid summer months or right after heavy rain, when moisture levels tend to spike the fastest. It's also helpful to understand the connection between humidity and temperature perception in your home. Many homeowners crank up their thermostat in the winter because a room feels cold and drafty, when in reality, excess moisture in the air is what's making it feel that way. Damp air conducts heat away from your skin faster than dry air, which tricks your body into feeling colder even when the actual temperature reading is the same. By reducing humidity with this simple hack, many people find they can lower their thermostat by a degree or two and still feel just as comfortable, adding even more savings on top of what they're already saving by skipping the electric dehumidifier. Beyond comfort and energy savings, controlling moisture is one of the most overlooked forms of preventative home maintenance. Mold and mildew don't just create an unpleasant smell. They can trigger allergies, aggravate asthma, and in some cases lead to more serious respiratory issues over time. Wood trim, drywall, and even structural framing can weaken when constantly exposed to damp conditions, leading to costly repairs down the road. Metal fixtures like pipes, hinges, and vents can corrode faster in humid environments, shortening their lifespan and creating unexpected repair bills. By using an inexpensive method like this to manage moisture proactively, you're not just making your home more comfortable today, you're protecting it from expensive problems years down the line. For homeowners who want to take this a step further, pairing the calcium chloride method with a simple hygrometer, which is an inexpensive humidity gauge you can find for under $15, allows you to actually track your indoor humidity levels in real time. Most experts recommend keeping indoor humidity between 30 and 50% for optimal comfort and to prevent mold growth. If you notice your levels consistently creeping above that range in certain rooms, that's your cue to add another moisture-absorbing container or improve ventilation in that specific area. It's important to set realistic expectations with this method as well. Calcium chloride desiccants work incredibly well for small to medium-sized enclosed spaces like closets, bathrooms, laundry rooms, and basement corners, but they aren't designed to replace a whole home dehumidification system if you're dealing with severe, widespread moisture issues throughout an entire house. In those more serious cases, you may need to address underlying issues like poor grading around your foundation, a leaking roof, or inadequate insulation that's allowing outside humidity to seep in. But for everyday moisture control in specific rooms, this hack offers an incredibly efficient, low-cost solution that most homeowners overlook simply because they've never heard of it. What makes this trick so appealing is that it fits perfectly into a proactive home maintenance routine. Just like changing your furnace filter regularly or checking your gutters each season, taking a few minutes every couple of weeks to check and refresh your moisture, absorbing containers becomes a small habit that pays off in a big way. It protects your belongings, keeps the air healthier to breathe, prevents the spread of mold, and helps your home feel more comfortable without adding a single cent to your electricity bill. So if you've been noticing damp corners, foggy windows, or that stale, musty smell creeping into certain rooms of your house, don't reach for an expensive appliance just yet. Head to your local hardware store. Pick up a bag of calcium chloride for around $4, set up a simple homemade moisture trap, and place it in the areas of your home that need it most. It's a small, almost invisible change, but one that can make a noticeable difference in how your home feels, smells, and holds up over time, all without ever touching your power bill.